Good morning. Happy Friday, everybody. Welcome to 10 a.m. Tea with Natalie. I hope that you had a wonderful week and that you are probably really excited for the weekend. I know that I am. So I'm back again to talk about stress eating and what to do about it. So as we talked about yesterday, stress eating and emotional eating is really based on this kind of unconscious thing that's going on where we just have this need to feed. We're not really checked into it. We overeat. We feel really bad about it. So it's definitely not something that we're like consciously choosing. It's like an unconscious choice, but we have to get ahead of that and get on top of that in order to get that piece under control. So what is the opposite of emotional eating or stress eating? Do you have any idea? Mindful eating. So this is checking in to how you're feeling, what's going on with you, how your body's doing before you eat. So typically when we're talking about mindful eating, you get that intense food craving, okay? And then you give it 5 minutes. Because what you're trying to do is you're trying to check into whether or not you're feeling actually hungry or whether this is just an emotional thing, okay? And emotional cravings, definitely are, again, going to be those comfort foods and things. And so thinking about what are you craving, kind of give yourself a little bit of a pause. Also, we talked about impact area a little bit here and there. It's something I posted a video on a couple weeks back on Saturday. And that was talking about counting down from 5 to kind of switch your monkey mind into your kind of logical, conscious mind. And that can definitely be really powerful too. You know, that 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, what am I doing? Check in. You know, how am I feeling? Is this just that automatic response that I'm trying to get away from, or am I actually physiologically hungry? Okay. Also thinking about what is your mood? Are you angry? Are you sad? Are you lonely? Are you frustrated? What's going on? And then the real treatment is to address whatever's kind of going on with that picture. So if you're angry, maybe go for a walk, maybe get some exercise. If you're feeling lonely, maybe make a phone call and check in with a friend or family member. If you're feeling just exhausted and burnt out, maybe take a nap or go to bed early. Those are the ways that we can kind of go around and get things under control a little bit more easily. It's also important to realize that when we are dealing with emotional eating, this is going to be an uncomfortable process to unwire, okay? Because it means that you have to sit with those uncomfortable emotions that you've been trying to eat away, okay, and that have been eating away at you. So you're going to have to deal with that anger. You're going to have to deal with that sadness and that fear and those things that are going on. And if you're having a hard time sitting with those negative emotions, please get help. Everybody has struggles. Everybody gets stuck. That's why there's providers to help you. Okay, so talk to your favorite provider about what's going on and see what insight and advice they can offer you so that it can go a little bit more smoothly and a little bit more easily. All right, what are other ways that you can avoid the emotional eating? Well, first of all, not having any junk food in the house has been really, really helpful for me. I'm not going to get in the car and go and buy a bunch of ice cream. But if it's in the freezer, I will have a little bite here and have a little bite there. And the next thing you know, you've eaten half the container. So having it just not around is really, really helpful because then you're not having to count on your willpower to get you through. It's going to take a whole bunch of other steps that you're going to have to check in on, like, am I going to actually get in the car right now and do this? Because that's not going to be an automatic behavior for most people. Keeping your blood sugar even all day is also really helpful for preventing emotional eating. So when we eat inconsistently, our blood sugar drops and then we have spikes and then it drops. And when we have this kind of irregular glucose levels going on, the brain gets really upset by that. The brain wants everything to be consistent and easy so that the brain doesn't have to worry about the blood sugar. It can kind of do all the other functions that it's doing. And so if you are having that irregularity going on, that's causing agitation in your brain, and then that will lead you to have those food cravings and that drive, especially for sugary foods and carbohydrates in the evening. So if you're having that need to feed at night and you're really craving like the starches and the carbohydrates and the sugars, thinking about keeping your blood sugar even all day is going to be really, really helpful for that. Also, keeping in mind portion control, right? It always comes back to that. making sure that you're not just loading your plate up, making sure that you're not, eating like you're, at the buffet or something. It's all about doing those actions that are consistent with reaching the goals that you're wanting to achieve. So, keeping your blood sugar even, not buying junk food, watching your portions. We also have preparing your own food. And studies actually have shown that when you are cutting your own vegetables and kind of cooking everything and preparing it yourself, you actually find your meals to be more satisfying and more enjoyable. So I think it's kind of like, what you get out of it, what you put into it. And so if you are making your own food at home, it's a lot easier to control the ingredients that are going in there. So you're not going to be adding that extra pat of butter. You're not going to be adding that extra salt. You're not going to be adding that potentially MSG, right? Still in a lot of fast food and stuff like that, and Doritos. Unless you get the organic Doritos, they don't have MSG. So that's kind of been my way around it, those Simply Doritos. Yeah, we all have issues, y'all. I also recommend eating like a foodie. So what does that mean? That means actually taking the time to appreciate your food. So trying to taste all those spices that you added, trying to taste all the different ingredients will slow down the eating process. So tasting all the flavors. You also have to taste small bites if you're going to be trying to taste all these flavors. So a small bite, you're going to have to kind of roll it around your tongue to get all those different taste buds to be activated and kind of get that full experience. And you're going to have to chew slowly so that you can figure out all the different flavors that are in there, right? So really, we can kind of take a tip right out of the foodie cart and kind of slow things down a little bit and actually enjoy what you're doing. Enjoy all the little steps that you took, the time that you took to mince the garlic. Taste that shit in your food, right? It's awesome. And also avoiding sugar. Some of us are just sugar junkies. We're just addicted. You have a little bit of sugar and then it's kind of like starts off this craving cascade where, if you do really good for a couple weeks, you don't have any cravings, but then, one can of pop or one, little treat, cookie, whatever. And then the next thing you know, you're having sugar cravings all over the place. And this is really common for a lot of people. And it's going to kind of set off that whole serotonin trigger like we talked about yesterday, where you have a crappy mood. The brain says, eat a bunch of crap, and then that increases your serotonin, which helps you feel better. But again, that's not how you want your body to be regulated there. Okay. Moving right along. We could also, again, bringing it back to serotonin, talk about how to prevent serotonin depletion in the first place. So we can kind of hedge things off on that cascade. So avoiding caffeine is going to be really helpful for avoiding serotonin depletion. A low protein diet can be helpful for some patients. Or eating a low protein diet. Mineral deficiencies, so this is your calcium and magnesium. Also B complex and vitamin D are really important for serotonin production. And so if you're not having enough of those minerals and vitamins on board, you may have some issues with producing serotonin. So just a general well-balanced nutrient profile is really, really important. So you could achieve that with diet, you could achieve that with supplementation. A lot of patients just go with the supplementation because you have that kind of peace of mind that you know that you're getting all the stuff that you need. It can be really difficult, even if you're eating all clean and you're, all organic. It can be very, very hard to get your nutrient levels up, especially if you've been deficient for a while. So adding that supplementation for a lot of people can be really helpful. It's also important to remember that serotonin production is dependent upon light, okay? So this is kind of tying in again with that vitamin D aspect that you need vitamin D is actually made when cholesterol and UV light combine, right? Cholesterol is the building block of vitamin D. Well, it totally is. And so it's really important then to get your vitamin D levels by being in the sunshine, and then that's going to support your serotonin. And managing your stress is also going to be really important. Serotonin is secreted as part of the stress response, so you're kind of wasting it if you're having a lot of kind of stressful moments during the day. So making sure that you can kind of check yourself in, keep yourself, at a scale of 0 to 10, maybe 3 or less. If you start noticing you're at a 4 or 5, you need to take some steps to get your stress more under control, whether that be deep breathing, whether that be inhalation therapy with essential oils or herbs or going for a walk. We need to really be keeping ourselves, at 3 and below and not letting things kind of ramp up in that way. Because when we're getting to 5, 6, 7, that's when we're looking at sleep issues, we're looking at pain issues, we're looking at mood disturbance. So let's kind of stay away from that side of the pendulum. Exercise is also really, really helpful for serotonin production. So just like the insulin comes and has all the kind of glucose and amino acids pulled out of the bloodstream, exercise does the same thing. And it also just leaves that tryptophan to bind unobstructed, I guess I'll say. And then that is creating the potential for building serotonin, because tryptophan is one of the ingredients to do that. And since it doesn't have any competition, that's kind of what the body decides to do there. So think about this. If you exercise in the sunshine, that's like a serotonin bomb, which is going to help you feel amazing. So unfortunately in Oregon, that's a little bit difficult to do right now since we're in the middle of the rainy season. But hopefully for people in other areas, or on those sunny days, make sure that you're taking that time and taking advantage of that for yourself. So it's super important to also consider sleep. And so when we're dealing with sleep issues, a lot of patients have deficiency with magnesium and vitamin D as well, especially in regards to being able to fall asleep easily and kind of sleep like a log, that like deep sleep. I personally kind of thought that magnesium was a joke until I tried it. Like I was like, really? It's just magnesium is the reason why all this stuff is wrong? Well, it turns out magnesium is in like 300 different reactions in the body, so it's kind of a big deal. And a lot of those have to do with detoxification and helping to, to promote good rhythms and things. And so getting magnesium on board can really help promote restful sleep, and that's going to help with your mood, because when you sleep good, you wake up in a better mood, you'll have more self-control, you'll be able to make better choices, you'll handle stress better. So sleep is really kind of the root of a lot of these things. And if there's an issue with sleep, then it's really important to dig deep in there and figure out what's going on, because sleep is really the only time your body's able to heal. It's the time that you're, getting all this cellular repair and kind of keeps you young. It's just so important. I can't stress it enough. So if you're having issues with sleep, please, please, please do something about it. Don't sit there and just be a zombie, okay? All the rest of your quality of life will kind of collapse on top of you. And for some people, sometimes it's kind of the straw that breaks the camel's back, so you're able to kind of somehow live on that 3 to 5 hours of sleep for a while, maybe even years, but then all of a sudden, bam, it knocks you out. So please, please, please don't, prove me right. Get that taken care of. So there's a lot of things supplementally as well that we can do to help to support this whole picture with emotional eating. We can do vitamins, multivitamins, get your vitamin D levels checked if you're not sure, calcium and magnesium. We can also really look at gut health, since serotonin is produced and does a lot of work for the gut contractility and kind of keeping the intestines moving along and everything. So probiotics and aloe juice and digestive enzymes can be really helpful. Some people like to do internal essential oils. I don't recommend that for all patients, but if it's helpful for you, definitely, do what works. And definitely working on the brain, like omega-3 fatty acids are another supplement that could be really helpful. And, just really work on having a consistent diet, eating on a consistent schedule, and keeping your blood sugar balanced all day. I have also been working on a couple of products that have been added to the product lines that I carry in regards to weight loss and things. And it's my personal policy to really test everything on myself before I recommend it to anyone else. And I believe that's kind of the most responsible thing I can do on my side to really, viscerally understand what happens. I feel if you're going to recommend a patient go on a detox or something, you should know what that experience is like. And sometimes it's kind of gross. And there's, diarrhea that smells really bad, and nightmares and sweating and all this kind of thing. And so if you're not warned about how things could kind of go, it could be a kind of real negative experience for you. So it's really important for me to be able to prepare my patients as best as I can for what their experience would be like. And also so that I can make a really great recommendation in that way. So moving forward next week, I will be talking a little bit about that. I've been testing something over the last 4 days, and I'll let you know how that's been going. So hopefully that helps you kind of figure out emotional eating a little bit. We'll definitely keep kind of tying things back into this area since so many of us have a difficulty there. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Please comment below or share if you think that anything that we've talked about today could be helpful for someone else. So many people struggle and they don't need to, and so many people get hopeless. So let's not let our friends and family members get there. Please share all this information everywhere, all over. If anyone can benefit from it, that's really what our goal is. So have an excellent weekend. Take care of yourself. Have a glass of water. Maybe go for a walk if it's sunny outside. And we'll catch up with you next week. 10 a.m. Tea with Natalie, Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Take care.